Eventually, you accept yourself. There's nothing more important in our lives than for us to know that we can accept ourselves, accept who we are, or accept who we become. But sometimes that's challenging. And we will wonder, why can't we do that? Why do we have difficulty accepting ourselves? Well, the first part would be you don't know who yourself is going to become. When we come into the world, we are born to do something, and then that is a process of evolution. We will each do that in different ways, and it's going to be completely unique from anything that has ever existed before. And accepting that can be challenging. And so then we could run from it. We could decide that we're not going to do whatever that is sitting in front of us. And then you discover that your life goes out of whack because you're not honoring why you were born. And I can speak to that because that's what I did. And I do understand it. But I also understand that I did it for a reason, and I know that you did the same thing. When we come into the world, we come to move through some limitation or some blockage or something that has existed within us so that we can offer that to our world. But we don't always understand that because I didn't understand it either. But now I'll show you why I couldn't accept myself, but now I must, because that's what I want you to do. We don't live the lives we're supposed to have until we can say, this is who I am, and I'm going to own that. And obviously my life was meant to bring to the world that work that could have any person do that. Now, I didn't believe it at first, and I ran from it, and I doubted myself. And it also caused me to have all sorts of difficulties in my life because I kept saying, no, this shouldn't be happening. No, that couldn't be me. And then you decide that, wait a minute, I've got to change. And that's what we all have to do. At certain points, we have to decide, I've got to change because I'm ruining my life because I can't accept myself. And that is true for every single person. Because you're born to do something and it's unique, it's something within you, and when you do it, then things change. And that's what I'm doing now. The title of this video and the message is for October the 23rd. Today is still the 22nd because I had to talk about it this way. Because the thing that I couldn't accept was I was given work in an entirely different way. When I started doing automatic writing, that's how I started in 1989. We will all look for ways to find help, understanding of who we are. That's what we're always doing. We go to courses, we take programs, we get coaches, we get mentors because we know that somehow we're passing on information, and that information is coming through what we've lived. Every coach knows that. That's what they're doing. They're just talking about the things that they've moved through and maybe the things that they've screwed up and didn't know. That's how we evolve. But then sometimes we can refuse to do that because it requires us to move into the unknown of who we are. And that unknown was frightening for me. But then you'll discover that if you become willing to keep going, if you become willing to take that next step, and you may be there today, you may be there on the 23rd of October when this is out, whenever you might see it, because something will awaken for you. And I do know that because as you go to the messages for the 23rd, and I'll leave a link here, you will see the progression. And the progression started in 2008. I'm just saying that because that was a particular cycle. We start to understand that there's an organization in our universe. And you are part of it because it's all energy. When you were born, there was an energetic code. You had a DNA and all of that. And every difficulty that you went through was somehow encoded in that. And if you could figure it out and move through it, your life becomes different. I spent 36 years figuring it out. And that's why I'm changing, because I discovered, wait a minute, I've been given the answers to anyone's difficulty. And I know that that's true because I had to live it, first of all. I had to spend all those years moving through every difficulty. But then you start to understand science. And then you see, oh, wait a minute, there's an alignment that happens. And if I come in alignment with who I am, meaning owning myself, then the energies of the world might have an effect on what's going on within me. And then I could experience healing, mind body healing. I could come to a greater sense of clarity and understanding. I could start seeing the world in an entirely new way. And I will tell you that's exactly what happens, because that was the ascension plan that Wilhelm gave me. But I couldn't have understood that, because I also did something very different, and you have never seen this, and I hadn't seen it either. We've heard of the quantum field, and I had no idea this is what was occurring. I didn't know that was why this work was so transformative for any person who did it. I doubted it. I couldn't understand it, because no one's ever done it before. There's been many people who have channeled and brought in different kinds of work, and there's a string of them. I've created several documents to talk about it, but no one has done anything like Wilhelm, because they were giving us real-time information from the quantum field that's happening now. And as you look at the messages for the 23rd, it'll make sense to you, because you will see a message for 2020 that you will read, and you'll say, oh wow, that's happening right now, because that's how I received information, and now that explains why I was able to achieve healing. Now, I know many people will not understand or believe this, which is why I must change, because the other thing that I've done, when this started, I've known for 5 years, and I've been fighting it because it didn't make sense, because no one had seen it. But now you will see it. I'm just going to show you a little bit of it. I'm going to give you a link so you can read it for yourself, and I'm sending this to everyone because this is the day that I must change, because what I've done, this was so astonishing to me that I had healed everything and understood things, and I couldn't understand it. Then it was revealed, because I was receiving it from the quantum field where all information would exist. We just access a little bit at a time, and I was given a way of doing that, and that's why it was causing me to heal. That's why I did the same for anyone else who did this work, which we couldn't at the time even understand. But now I do. And so I'm finishing. And when I'm doing, I'm saying this because I would love for you to look at everything. After tomorrow, I'm changing the entire thing, because years ago, people were telling me, Roger, you should be charging at least $5,000 for this, and people are charging so much more to get these kind of results. I didn't believe that, and I didn't even finish it because I thought that couldn't have been me. You have done the same thing. We all do, because we don't know what we can achieve. But now I'm going to give you this document so you can see. You'll work through it on your own. And even as you see the messages, because I published them early, and you see the messages, you can go through them, and I put reflection questions in there, because that's what I did every single day. I would receive the information. I had to think about it. I had to see, what can I change in my brain? What could I work through? It was the most extensive mindset course any person could ever take. And then the result is it causes you to heal. And then it causes you to reverse age. That is a real thing. And you've probably seen things about that, but it does happen when you become willing to move through all the limitations and blockages that only exist in your consciousness. This is what came about as a result of this 36 years. And so I never want people to think that you're done. You're not, ever. But this is what came through. Sorry. It was this. And again, like I said, I'll give you the link. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the message that I published, and you'll see it all there. And it is this. Eventually you accept yourself, and it's for October 23rd, 2025. Eventually you accept yourself. There will be no other reason for you to have chosen to be alive but for that purpose. What you might not have understood or accepted was the importance of your life and the purpose. But today, more of you will, as will our messenger. We love using this term, and more of you are beginning to understand it. Please follow along. And that's what I'm talking about, because they started showing me that they gave me information that was a cycle. We pass on information from one another, and we only do it at particular times. And there's a collective consciousness that we can all think about, but it's all within each person. We just decide how much we're going to access. And this is a document that put together for the 23rd, the October 23rd portal, Understanding Quantum Field Communication and the 17-year journey to self-acceptance, which is the only thing any of us are attempting to do, because then we live the lives we want to have. We have the careers, we have money, all of those things. And when we don't, we suffer. But you'll be able to read all of this, and because this is, I was told a while ago that I had to have this studied because no one had done this in history. I never studied astrology. I never studied any of the sciences, but that's energy again. We come to understand that. But I was able to access the information that told us events that would be happening in our world and that caused me to heal. I had no awareness of how that was occurring, but now you will understand it. We've got to pass on. When we develop something new in human consciousness, we've got to give it to others. That's how we all evolve. And so that's what I'm completing. And this is difficult for many people because, again, you've never seen it before. I had never seen it, so it was difficult for me to accept, even though I'm experiencing the healing. I'm experiencing all the results. And go to my doctor yesterday, or on Monday, I should say, and I was like, oh, wow, everything is great from what was going on before. We have so much more control, but that control is in our consciousness, and we just have to be willing to use it. My life was meant to develop something. I had no clue, but you have something as well. But look at this. I want you to check it all out because, as I said, I know most people will not do this, but I'm sending this to everyone on my list, everyone who I know, because I could have never explained this work before, but now you know. And I'm dedicating this next year of finishing it all and working with those people closely to achieve the kind of maximum success and abundance and happiness that they could only imagine, because I know this work would do it. If it could have done this for me, it can do it for you. That I do know. But enjoy the document and you'll understand so much more. All right, see you soon.